Hello everybody and welcome. Today's account is from Mullaghbain and it's in the Sperrin Mountains in Ireland and it happened in 2015 and I spoke to the witness myself as the report came into me. Now I don't have a lot of accounts for Ireland, and as I've discussed before, I think it's because A, it's even less known in Ireland than it is in the UK, and B, as I don't know the old names and the old Celtic names and like the regional names like I know in the UK, I find it really hard to search online for them. So I'm hoping if I keep putting the Irish videos out and I read the few Irish accounts that I do have, that maybe the word will spread a little bit, and in the future we will have some more Irish researchers, because it's ideal habitat. And the witnesses are out there. It's just impossible for me to find them at the minute. So this account came in it came in November, actually, 2015. And this is what the witness had to say. I've been hiking since 2004, mostly alone and all over Ireland. And in December 2015, well, I've clearly put the date wrong there, and I better go back and change that. So it's December 2016, not November. I was in a very remote and isolated area of the Sperrins. I'd walked to 3 hilltops surrounded by dense forest and was heading back uphill towards a tree line to my car when I saw something very tall and large moving fast behind me, about a kilometre away. It was walking ahead down the hill towards me on a route that I had just taken. And I'm not easily spooked, but I did not hang about, as I'm of the opinion if it wanted to, it could have caught up with me quite easily. And I've pondered this for a while now, and I've not had a clue what it was to this day, as I see people on the hills and mountains at various distances, but this was taller. This was taller than a 6-foot person at a distance. It must have been 8 feet plus in my guess, as I didn't have a gun. I only had my hiking poles, and I wasn't about to wait, and find out. So my hiking bag now has binoculars in it, just in case it ever happens again. But I just couldn't work out what it was I'd seen. I would be interested to know if anyone has encountered anything strange in or around the Sperrin mountain range. I have my walk recorded on a GPS unit, and I walk all year in all weathers from good to zero visibility. So I'm well used to seeing everything appearing out of the mist. But on this walk, I had great visibility. And I know about optical illusions and, what lone trees can give when you're walking. And I don't know what I saw, as I see deer and quad bikes on the mountains regularly with hikers, dogs and runners, and depending on where I walk. All I could say was this thing I saw, for want of a better word, was out in the open, following a fence down a hill. I had just left the same direction and it was moving fast, and it was on 2 legs, and it was at least 8 feet tall, if not more. And I'm not one for seeing things, but this was huge and it spooked me at the time. I mean, I'm now going to carry a monocular when hiking, as it's handy to put in your pocket. And even at my age, in my middle 50s, I've only ever seen 3 badgers in Ireland. So I certainly don't rule anything out in life. And as most wild creatures are very cautious and secretive and rarely seen, I would like to see some camera traps being set up in the area. I'll send a pic of my route, which he did, and that's in the video, you'll have seen that going past, and approximate coordinates. And I know there were camouflaged hunters in the area, which I saw and found really strange. But when I went hiking, they left the area I was hiking in. I did see them with a map out, which I thought was highly unusual, as local hunters of game usually know this area back to front and don't carry maps. The area I walked in was wet, but there was no river. It was really marshy ground. And on my first hill near my starting point, up past the 2 forests, the hill is known as Canelli West Top, and it's about 505 metres high. The big thing was coming towards me as I left Canelli West Top, and it was walking towards Mullaghbain Summit. That's all I can tell you, really. I actually waited at my car for it coming over the top of the Mullaghbain as I exited over this summit, and I turned left heading west to my car, parked on a very minor road, but nothing appeared. So it wasn't a person, because he would have had to come out that way. It's not something I wish to repeat again, I'll be honest. Today, I have walked nearly 300 different mountains in Ireland alone, from one end of the country to the other. So I see a lot of great views, and sometimes I see nothing. But this was totally different. Having walked nearly 50 of the highest mountains in this country, to date, I've walked nearly 300 different mountains in Ireland, and from one end of the country to the other, so I see a lot of great things, but I just can't work out what I saw. And that's really all he had to say. But what I did find interesting was something he just touched on and then moved on very quickly. And I did talk about him to him about it actually. Was that the men that he saw with the maps? They were, you know, they were looking, having a look round, seeing if what they could see, kind of thing. And I mean, they could have just been from the water board, couldn't they? Or they could have been just checking the botanists or something like that. I don't know. But it does seem a little strange. You know, and he mentioned it. So I'm just pulling my map up now. I'll have a look at the Sperrin Mountains, because, like I say, we don't have a whole lot of sightings in Northern Ireland. But the Sperrin Mountains is a pretty vast place, and it is popular with hikers and outdoors people. If you're looking on your Google Maps, if you just put in Sperrin Mountain Range, it'll come up. And it's a lovely area. It's there's lots of little forests there. Not very many, hardly any houses around at all that I can see. It is next to the Loch Neag, so there is a vast amount of water there. There's everything you need. So it's like directly in the middle of the country. And most of the sightings in Ireland come from the north east coast, mostly. I mean, not all of them, but most of them are on the northeast coast. So this is like directly in the middle, but not out of the range where something could walk that walk, if you get what I mean. It's not, it just fit in with the other sightings. Lovely, and I'll put a picture of that on the map. And just on the north, west, east coast alone, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 accounts, including this one, at the Sperrin Mountains. So there's something being seen and heard up there. And you could be a help to me if you know of any, like in England we have lots and lots of names for the wildman, and it can be anything from Padfoot all the way through to a boggart or a bullbeggar. And those words I don't know. In Ireland I have heard of the Sackman, and it was told to me this week by Michael Kilcourse, and he said in his area as a child he was a legend of the Sackman, and he was a hairy man and he lived in the woods, and he came out with his basket and he put children into the basket and stole them. And that story kind of pops up in Alaska, Russia, Europe, all over the world really, doesn't it? A wild person is going to get you if you stay in the woods at night, and he'll put you in the basket and he'll take you away. So that's the first localised name I've ever heard for the wildman, so I can do a little bit of research on that now. But if you know of anywhere, any publication I can look in, any video I can watch, or even a local name, a historical tale, anything like that will just give me a little bit of a clue where I can start looking and trying to find some further witnesses, and then we might be able to work out what's going on in that area. But they all seem to be in Northern Ireland at the moment, and hardly anything in Southern Ireland. I mean, we do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, about 10 in all in Southern Ireland, but they're very widely spread, and they spread through history, so they're not together over decades, they're together over 100 years. And a lot of the sightings in Ireland come in as werewolf, or a wolfman, or a standing wolf. But when you read the descriptions, there's no ears mentioned, or tail mentioned, or anything like that. It's a tall, hairy figure that looks like a person, but it's hairy like a dog. So I'd like to do much more research in Ireland if I can, and like I say, you can be of help to me with that. If you've heard anything that can put me on the spot somewhere in Ireland where I can start looking for witnesses, or if you're interested in yourself, if you're over there in Ireland and you're interested to go and have a look, I'm more than happy to have a look in your local area and see if I can find something where you should be looking. If you go back through my earlier videos, there's lots of videos on what you need to be looking out for. Have a look at Bigfoot Tony's channel as well, and JC, the Bigfoot YouTuber from the UK. Have a look at his channel. There's a lot. Charmin Fraser's channel as well. There's a lot of structure things out there. You can have a look and see what you should be looking for. And well, that's all now for this for today. So I hope you have a nice weekend. And if I don't catch you before, I'll be online next Friday night. I think Friday the 7th, about 7 o'clock, and we can have a chat. So if you're over there in Ireland or even in England and you want to have a talk to me, that's where you can find me. But I'm always around if you want to drop me a message. So thanks very much, and until next time, goodbye.